Hello Virgo, thank you for tuning in to your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. Yep. And for the supportive oracle cards, the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I already shuffled. Okay, we're going to do some little round robin thing going on here. Alright. I feel like the end here, I'm getting like, the reason the cards came in like I put them down in like a swirl is like I feel like there's like a bunch of people involved or something's coming in from a bunch of different angles. But we're going to get to that in a moment. Let's see what we're coming into. I feel like, I don't know, I'm getting kind of like this current, like a water current, like how things swirl around in a water current. I'm getting that feel here with your reading, which makes me feel like things seem like they're kind of dragging you along and they're kind of pulling you in, and it's just kind of like everything's going on around you, but you're definitely a part of it. Like it seems like there's a lot going on here is what I'm feeling, but it's my first impression. Now, even though this is happening, what we have going on here, like the strongest thing I'm pulling into to start off with is in the environment, you have the Death card. So something has come to an end in the environment, which can take on a lot of different meanings, of course. This is a card when I read people, typically it's not physical death. It can be that, especially with a general read. This is something that you know. When you're watching this, I feel you already know this is the way it is or not. I don't feel like it's alluding to a possible death. Something at this point has ended. And if it's an actual physical death, it's already there. And this is where everything seems to be stepping off from. A lot of times I've noticed this is kind of like a job change. Like if you're leaving a company to another company, an end of an era, that type of thing. Sometimes like a birth, especially a first child birth, that definitely is usually pulled in by this card because it's saying like the way your life was is over. Now that a child is a part of it, a whole new situation is beginning. I don't know why we're going through so many scenarios with this, but we're going to leave that there. Okay, now with this happening here, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing, I think that's what I'm trying to pull in here. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. Something is ending, their way of life, how somebody used to live, something like that. This is around you. Now, excuse me. This card is what's actually happening as you're going into this situation. This is you and what's going on around you matching up. Now, I'm getting like you're accepting things are moving forward and you're ready to move forward, but you're also realizing other people are they haven't caught up to the moment yet. So the Two of Wands here for me is like you're ready to go forward. You're realizing that some other people aren't ready to go forward. You're trying to kind of move forward yet not lose track of the ones who are not. It seems like you're trying to like pull somebody forward with you. I just feel like it's a bit of a struggle. I feel like you're trying to pull somebody with you. Like, come on, we're going. Like, it's good. Even if the situation is a negative situation that came to an end, I feel like you're like, you know what? It's time to move forward. There's some type of positive element you're able to see here. Because I'm thinking, even if it's like a physical death, unless it was a complete shock, it might be like somebody's suffering is over. I don't really feel like most of you are going to hit that way, though. I'm feeling like most people are going into, like, you're seeing somebody around you, their life is changing, and I feel like you're like, you know what, let's embrace the change. It'll be better for you if we just go forward. Holding on to what's already done is not going to serve you. I feel like you're on board with this because I don't really feel like there's a really strong negative strike here, like a shocking passing, because next to you, you have the success. Like, we're going to work through this, we're going to get this going. You're looking at the bright side. I really feel like you're looking at the bright side, but the other people are kind of having an issue here. somebody around you is, and I feel like you're trying to pull them forward with you. Is that correct? There's more to this. All right, so there's something I haven't touched on yet. There's more to this. The success of the situation is tied in with these other people. And even though you're ready to go forward, you definitely need them to be ready as well. I almost feel like you're worried that this could be a problem. I'm looking at the success. It is definitely connected with the Two of Wands, but it's also like butting up against this Moon card next to you. These two on the top are on your side of what's going on with you. This card here, this card here, the success. I'm getting the way the people are acting, you're kind of worried that this might not... like, this could work out. You're like, this could work out. This doesn't have to be a complete devastation. But if we just sit here and stagnate on it, it's going to be painful. I'm getting like this swirly feel here. Like, things are going on around you. You're doing your best to deal with it. You're seeing this doesn't have to be... like, it doesn't have to be... like, it doesn't have to be devastating any more than it already was. Like, the Death card is what it is by itself. Like, this situation is what it is all by itself, and I'm really not getting a negative tinge with this. But I'm feeling like people around it might be kind of resisting the change. Because sometimes, even though a change could be good, people just aren't, when they're not used to something, or they're used to something else, they kind of resist it because it's new and it's a little scary. And I'm not saying that you're all you know, cheerful about a change anyway, but you're accepting it. I just feel like you're like, you know, holding on to something that's already finished it's just going to drag this out longer. I'm kind of getting like, you're looking at this in a sense of like past influences where you've gone through this before and you've held on to things that have long since passed, and it hasn't made your life any easier, and it just dragged out a situation that it just wasn't worth it. It just put you more at a detriment than actually moving forward. And the sooner you move forward, the sooner things can go better. Because I'm getting this swirling feeling here. Like, this is kind of like a swirling here, and then it goes over here. Like, you're trying, in the beginning of this, you're trying to get people to move forward. And it's weird because I really feel like you're empathetic about it, because you understand. You do understand, because you've been there yourself, where you don't want to move forward, and you're digging in your feet, you're fighting it, even though it's too late, you're still not willing to move forward. And I just feel like you're pulling back on your own history to realize this isn't going to work. This isn't going to help anybody, especially the people holding back. Like, they need to go forward. I feel like you're talking with people. This is more of a swirling action again, because I feel like it's hard to move on from this point. And the whole thing about this is you have to seem to get involved with other people and talk things out. It might take a series of talks, maybe getting other people involved, like talking things out to get things to move forward. I'm getting that baby situation again, like first baby, and I'm almost getting like, for some of you, this is a family affair in which, however this situation came about, there's a lot of opposition to the people involved. Like, I don't know, it's like there's opposition here about who's involved or people not getting along. And I feel like you're looking at this like, we're all family, we need to get together, we need to move on from this. Like, we're not going to let this become a problem. We need to like shelve our feelings because there's somebody else involved now that is completely innocent, and we need to just move forward. Now, of course, a general read, it's not hitting for everybody, but I feel like this is at least explaining something. If this reading is hitting for you, like the community effort, like, you know, holding back, having grudges, not going to work. We need to let go. We need to move forward. It's going to hurt us and people who don't deserve to be hurt. It's not going to work. We need to move forward. Can I let go of this now? Because I feel like I'm going in circles and circles. Like, but I feel like they're also saying this is how this situation is playing out. If this reading is hitting for you, this moment in the beginning, it just keeps going over. It's like you constantly have to go over it. Constantly have to go over it. You're constantly trying to get people to move forward. When you finally do, you move into the next swirl. Now, I feel, especially with the idea of people shelving how they feel, people you're connected with, people you can influence or at least talk things out with, I do feel like you're having success with that. Because I feel like you might be also in that boat with you know, you have certain thoughts and feelings, but pushing them forward at this point, it's not going to benefit anything. I feel like that's how you're looking at it. You're like, you know, I may feel the way I feel, I may have certain thoughts and ideas, but now it's not going to help. Pushing that forward now, more discord. This isn't going to help. So you might be in this boat too, where you're like, I have things I'm thinking, things maybe I want to say, but I'm not feeling this is the time. I don't think we need to make the situation worse right now. We need to make it better. And even though that might bring about healing in the long run, this is just not the time. And I feel like you might be there too. Because I feel like there's a lot of people just kind of pulling back and like, all right, I'm just going to get along. The Two of Swords is telling me people have things they want to say that they're not saying. That's what I'm getting here. But it seems to be working out for everybody because it seems to be more of a positive reason. Like, you know, it's just not the time. It's just not the time to bring this forward. And a lot of these people may have already said what they thought. It's just the case of like, all right, I've said my piece. I don't need to beat it to death. People know where I stand. I'm gonna shelve it for now. Good? Good. Now, see, this is a swirl here because people are getting along better. I do have a peaceful resolution here in the center. But it's like the good and the bad. Something about the situation, definitely there's some apprehension about. Definitely. And I feel like you might be on board with that as well. Like, it's not the best. It's just not the best. But for whatever reason, you're, like, everybody's trying to make things better. There's definitely things they don't like. People, there's a lot of things they feel like are going back and forth. And it's better to hold back the opinions for now because it's moving things forward. People can stay involved, just try to... I feel like people are trying to move things in a better light. People are trying to keep things in a positive motion. I still feel like there's something here, at least one thing that people are really against, but because something about the situation, it can't be removed. There seems to be a lot of people who are against something, but due to the situation, whatever's going on with it, it can't be removed. And they're kind of accepting it, but they're also like keeping an eye on it at the same time, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, I'll tolerate this to a certain point, but if it gets any worse, I'm not thinking I can just hold my tongue. So I feel like the High Priestess is saying, there's things I don't like here that have to exist, but I'm only going to tolerate it so far. So I feel like there's like a very delicate balance about, you know, putting up with so much, but there's a line. There's definitely a line here. I do feel like the other side, whatever this component is, I feel like that, whatever that component is, it seems to stay in check. Let's say that. Okay. Because people are getting along and there's a peaceful resolution here. This is due to the change in attitude, which I feel like you're very much a part of. People are getting along. Things seem to be very peaceful. I'm noticing as we go on with this situation, there's more conversations. Like, this situation is not going to be finished. This is just talking about a moment in time with this situation. I'm getting on your side. You're going to be conversing with other people, trying to understand what's going on. Something about the situation is very unappealing. And I feel like people are trying to talk it out, like, is this acceptable, or, like, do we have to accept this? Should we accept this? These are more talks going forward past this situation, past it. And I'm getting like, it's just, there's a concern here. Something is just not very, something isn't, I don't know, people don't like something here. And there's more talks like, do we have to accept it? You know, what can we do about it? Can it be changed? Things like, I feel like there's talk behind the scenes here. And I feel like it's more peaceful because I feel like things are going well going forward. And I feel like people are, like, you seem to be a part of this, people are talking things out about what they're seeing that they don't like. And they're trying to really evaluate whether, you know, shelving how they feel is really a good thing or not. and like how they're keeping an eye on the situation, because I feel like a lot of people have their eye on what's actually happening, and there's something uncomfortable and unwanted here, and I'm seeing like there's a lot of community concern. I mean, I know it's a general read, but I'm feeling like you're a definite part of this, and I feel like you're doing the best you can. I'm getting, as you go forward, like there's a concern whether, you know, getting along is really the best idea. I feel like this comes forward later. Like, is getting along a good idea, or is this just making it more of a breeding ground for this bad element? Something here is very unwanted. But I'm feeling like as you go into the future, the truth is getting along is good because you wouldn't know exactly what is happening, and you still only have partial information. So getting along actually is working to your benefit, because I feel like more would be hidden if people weren't getting along. Like a situation, I feel like whatever this unwanted piece is, the situation would be a lot worse if people like you weren't getting along and keeping an eye on it. Okay. I don't think this is bad. I just feel like this, if this reading is hitting, I'm feeling like it probably makes sense. And I feel like this is going to be one of those times where it's either completely like, I have no idea what you're talking about, James, and and it's just not for that person, or I've seen this a lot lately too. Somebody will watch this at the beginning of the month and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. They come back at the end of the month, I know exactly what you were talking about. It's the same person, and they're like, at the time I didn't see it, but now it makes complete sense. So keep that in mind. If this doesn't make any sense to you, but something seems to keep drawing you to this reading, you might want to, like, you could like it. Like, it's always nice to like a video if you want, but like check mark it, put something on it, maybe save a link, I don't know, and come back to it later on, maybe halfway through the month, and just see if it's making sense then. Maybe you can see where this is going. Maybe that'll help you, because I feel like the getting along, I feel like you're a big, important part of that. If this reading is hitting with you, I feel like you're important to that, because your influence is helping this get better, and I'm thinking some of you may be like kind of on the fence whether you want to do that or not. Are we good? Good. All right, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.